In 2024, Doechii might have proved that alligator bites never heal, but they'll definitely shake the game up. After the release of her mixtape of the same name, TDE's latest powerhouse artist went on a historic run, consisting of high-concept visuals, brilliant marketing, undeniable talent, and a magnetic presence that made it impossible to look away. But with that spotlight came a wave of resistance. A familiar pattern emerged. Instead of celebrating her rise, certain corners of the internet began dragging her down. And who were the loudest voices? Drake fans, the Barbs. No, seriously. This goes deeper than Stan Wars. This is about what happens when a young, dark-skinned, genre-defying woman refuses to shrink herself to make others comfortable. So today, let's talk about Doechii, her rise, the industry plant narrative, and why, in a world that claims to love authenticity, people hate seeing it in real time. Doechii grew up in Tampa, Florida, where she was exposed to a variety of musical influences early on. Her love for music started with church performances and evolved into experimenting with different genres, ultimately blending into hip-hop, R&B, and alternative sounds. She spent years homing in on her craft, writing and recording music independently before catching the attention of her local scene. This foundation laid the groundwork for the bold and versatile artist she would later become, unafraid to push boundaries and explore new sonic territories. Inheriting beef isn't anything new in hip-hop, but I don't think that was ever Doechii's intention when Kendrick co-signed her. At the height of the 2024 rap war, when timelines were melting down and Drake fans were still recovering from a lyrical PTSD, Kendrick posted a photo supporting Doechii's new album and called her the hardest out. He even featured her in a PG Lang x Cash App commercial.
In the beginning, everybody had a plan for my money, but then I realized I just got to do my own thing.
That was the spark. And the fan bases, they lost it. Drake stans couldn't believe Kendrick was ignoring Drake entirely and instead boosting a rising artist. Meanwhile, the Barbs did what they did best, dragging another woman for daring to get praise that wasn't directed at Nicki. Together, they formed a toxic echo chamber of hate that snowballed across social media, making it cool to clown on Doechii. But back then, the industry plant label hadn't fully formed yet. The first wave of hate was focused on clowning her first week sales, as if that's the final metric of artistic worth, or proof that TDE is somehow failing its artists. It didn't matter that the rollout was pristine, or that the actual music was fire. The hate was louder than the art. Still, the project stood on its own. The range, the production, the detail, it stuck. People who listened became fans, and Doechii didn't just disappear after the drop. She pushed. Radio shows, festivals, creative rollouts. She was working like an artist with something to prove and something to protect. That kind of movement isn't out of the ordinary, but to a lot of casual hip-hop consumers, it felt foreign. We've been so conditioned to manufacture growth that authenticity actually looks suspicious. But Doechii made it clear, she's not some marketing experiment. She's an artist living in her purpose. And that's what really got to them. Because when you realize your potential, when you walk in it unapologetically, the people who feel small will always try to shrink you. What is an industry plan? Let's be real, the term industry plan has completely lost its meaning. At this point, people just throw it at any artist who doesn't fit their idea of what an organic success should look like. But here's the thing, people never apply that label fairly. When Doechii's momentum really started picking up, that's when the plant accusations started flying. Why? Because she was moving too well, too polished, too visible. To the average hater, success that doesn't follow their preferred struggle to stardom blueprint automatically has to be fake. Forget the years of work, forget the mixtapes, forget the undeniable talent. If you're winning and you're not in the algorithm-approved circle, you're suspect. But let's talk facts. Doechii's rise wasn't the product of overnight hype. It was calculative and creative. Her mixtape wasn't just carried by cosigns or aesthetics. It had depth, range, and style. The visuals, bold. The performances, elite. The interviews, thoughtful. Her rollout looked like what every label should be doing for their artists. That's not industry planting, that's industry functioning. And that's what people really hate. They're used to seeing labels fumble talent or shove bland artists down their throats. So when someone actually deserves the machine behind them, when they check every box and then some, folks short circuit. Suddenly it's, this can't be real. But then again, ask yourself, when have you ever seen an industry plan with substance? More importantly, ask this. Why don't y'all keep the same energy for the artists who actually drop mid with $1 million budgets? There's a whole lineup of algorithm rappers and TikTok core artists getting more support, but there's silence around that. But they don't get label plant allegations because they're playing into exactly what the industry wants. Low effort music that's easy to market and easy to forget. Doechii, on the other hand, makes music that asks you to remember her, and for some people, that's the problem. Why do they hate her so much? To answer this question bluntly, they hate Doechii because they can't control the narrative. Her talent isn't up for debate. Her vision is cohesive. Her performances are crafted, not just thrown together. She shows up, she delivers, reinvents, and does it all without asking permission from the people who think they can run the culture. And in 2025, that's threatening. Let's unpack it. The hate she gets isn't just about music. It's about identity, expectation, and who gets to be labeled as authentic. Doechii is a confident, genre-blending, unapologetic black woman with a non-conforming image and a real creative vision. She's not easily boxed in, and that unsettles a lot of people who rely on quick, digestible archetypes. We've seen it before. Anytime a woman in hip-hop, especially a black woman, doesn't fit neatly into a category, the public decides she's doing too much. But somehow doing the bare minimum is celebrated when it comes from industry-safe artists. The hate also comes from how visible her rise has been. She's been everywhere. Major performances, commercial campaigns, red carpet awards, interviews, but instead of appreciating the grind, people scream agenda, as if success in the music industry is supposed to be subtle. It's not. That's just projection from people who've been conditioned to believe visibility equals manipulation, rather than hard work plus backing equals breakthrough. And here's the real kicker. Doechii challenges the low standards that the mainstream has settled for. We've been in an era where mediocrity is repackaged as minimalism and vibes are being sold as vision. Doechii stands in direct contrast to that. She's intentional with her craft, and that level of care exposes how lazy a lot of people in today's music has become. And rather than level up, folks tear down. They say she's trying too hard, but when did effort become a bad thing? They say her marketing is too in your face, but when did that matter if the product actually slaps? It all comes down to this. Doechii isn't playing by their rules, and worse, she's winning anyway. So they slap on lazy labels, call her a plant, clown her numbers, complain about her image, but at the end of the day, the hate is louder because the talent is undeniable. Doechii is a threat to the status quo, and that's exactly why they can't stand her. She's redefining what it means to succeed in hip-hop and the music industry, and doing it on her own terms. In a world that's too quick to judge, label, and tear down, Doechii stands tall, unapologetically herself. Her talent, drive, and authenticity can't be denied, no matter how hard they try to pull her down. So as the hate pours in from the sidelines, the real ones know Doechii's not here to be a product of the industry. She's here to change it, and there's no stopping her now.